Please join us as we celebrate their commitment, hard work, and everything they have contributed to the Lancers. First up, a 5'9" second-year left side from Pakistan, Ontario, Faith Bender. In just her second year, Faith has brought steady offense, strong court presence, and a relentless work ethic that lifts up her teammates every single day. All right, up next, a 5'8" right side from Oral Station, Ontario, Sydney Crawford. Sydney is a second-year stand-up whose versatility and explosive attacking has made her a reliable spark whenever she's on the court. Up next, from Gary Place, Ontario, Gigi Akalive. In the 5'7" right side utility player in her second year, her adaptability, energy, and all-around skill set has made her a go-to athlete in big moments. Up next, a 5'7" Durham from Volleyball, Ontario, Jasmine Lazar. In her second year for Lancers, Jasmine has grown into a steady, reliable presence on and off the floor. Her development as a player combined with supportive attitude has made her a valuable and uplifting teammate in every sense. And next, standing 6'1" in the middle from Morelia, Ontario, Chloe Pallister. Chloe's 7 years got up to the key, bringing height, power, and presence at the net, and changes the momentum of every game she's in. Up next, a true veteran of the OCAA, Jamie Rutledge. Although Jamie's time as the Lions has been short, her leadership, experience, and court vision have been majorly impactful all season long. Up next, a 6'1", third-year dominating force on the outside middle from Ottawa, Ontario, Charles Tuttle. Charles is as the team's leading scorer with an incredible 194 points. She brings consistent firepower and intensity every time they step on the court. And finally, our last graduating athlete of the evening from National Ontario, Taylor Baker. A fourth-year athlete who was one of the program's most complete players, Taylor began her career as a dangerous offensive weapon on the left side and has then transitioned into a stand-up libero, anchoring the back row with point position and leadership. Her adaptability, tenacity, and heart have made her an irreplaceable piece of the Lancers volleyball team. Fans, please join us in giving a loud and heartfelt round of applause for our volleyball president, Thank you for the dedication to your program and for everything you brought to the board. Congratulations. Loyalist College is built upon the last effort by District 1 School Volleyball Agreement. We affirm and thank the Hope to Shawnee Initiative Bank and Durham Nations for their continued caretaking of the land. We offer respect to all indigenous peoples from all nations who call us area home. We honor traditional knowledge keepers past, present, and future. And now, next, please, if you are able, rise and move your hats to the playing of our national anthem. A second year for Whitby, number 10, Jessica Doherty. Up next, a fifth year from Chesterfield, Alberta, number 12, Brooke Young. A first year from Toronto, Ontario, number 14, Julie Wong. A third year from Brooklyn, Ontario, number 16, Jessica O'Kay. A second year from Curtis, Ontario, number 17, Elizabeth McFarland. A fourth year from Markham, Ontario, number 20, Tia Chang. And finally, a fifth year from Center, Ontario, number 21, Jessie Buck. All right, Lancer fans, put your hands together. It's time to meet the starting lineup for your Loyalist Lancers volleyball team. Our first of 6 weeks from criteria number 1, Haley Walker. Our first year player from Canada, number 2, Levi. A fourth year from County, number 4, Taylor.
Welcome inside the Lancer Dome. Well, today is grad day for our volleyball teams. Wishing all the graduates the best as they move on, and some of them might even return. My name's Stephen Chill alongside Dylan Ranarine to bring you the action. The visiting Durham Lords are here taking on Loyalist. And Dylan, the records for these two teams are quite opposite, if you will.
Yeah, big-time opposites here. We've got Durham currently sitting in second with a record of 12-2, and obviously the Lancers getting into ninth with a record of 3-11, just picking up their last win not too long ago.
Going to be on the far side. Lancers get that tap over from McFarland. Long puts it up. That's going to be Young. Close side here. It's Javoyska. Puts it over. Baker is going to set over Cudmore. Cudmore goes off the block. Baker's there for the help. Does it touch the roof? It doesn't. Rutledge over to Ides. Goes into the block. Rutledge is there for it. Baker back to Cudmore one more time. And it's saved in the back by Oak. Baker over to Cudmore. Into a big block and out. Lancers pick up the first point. What a rally to open things up.
Yeah, definitely a lot of work there for the first point. We've seen the Lancers with the same starting lineup here the last few games, at least the last 3 consistently, and reports from the players have said that this is what's working the best for them. However, as we just saw in the start there, over 50% of this starting lineup will be graduating, and so they'll be making some room for some newer players here. But we've definitely seen a lot out of the rookie players this year. Caitlin Byrne and Jada Ides especially, as well as Isabella Baker, been playing absolutely outstanding.
And a little miscommunication between Ides and Rutledge. We'll just let that one drop to the side. I think either of them could have played it. Somebody needed to do so, and neither does. So count the point to Durham, and we will see Tia Chang up to serve. Serve is good. Rutledge running for it. Going to be Cudmore. Sees the block there, goes off of it, and just drops down as we saw Jessie Buck try to reach for it.
Cudmore up to the line to serve. Charles Cudmore. 153 kills this season.
Quite an outstanding career as we hit an ace at that same time. Loyalist 3-1.
9 aces prior to this game, and they'll make it 10 just now, and just heading back for another one.
Oak. Down the middle to Young. Sides for that quick option to Buck. Quick option to Buck and capitalizes.
Quite a height difference here between these two teams today. Definitely got some tall girls here on Durham. Number 22, Lindsay Boone, 6'4", standing up there in front of the net right now. Apologies, 21, Jessie Buck at 6'5".
Byrne picks up the point for Loyalists, as we'll take a 2-point lead. Now to serve. And they're going to get another ace. Loyalists picking some aces up here early.
Caitlin Byrne, 7 aces this season.
And Loyalists getting lucky just towing that back line with a 3-point lead. Going to be short. Buck on the front, just tapped over from Young on that setter option, and then it's going to be Baker off that block. It's saved for his second, but both of the Durham players hit the floor, so nobody is there to try to reach for that second touch. Loyalists starting to pull away with the lead. Wong. Young goes for it, close side. Zavoyska kills it.
That's back to the lineup here with this 2 in, 2 out that Loyalists has been playing. They've been absolutely outstanding the last 3 games. Finally found something that seems to work well for them, and they're putting up a bit of a fight here up against Durham.
And Durham changing the libero. Doherty in for Wong. As we see Pallister going off Durham's block for the point. You'll see that substitution on the libero front as well. Something to keep an eye on the side of Durham, as we'll see a substitution.
7-3. We sit right now as Jada Ides comes to the line.
Crawford in for Rowledge. We'll see who ends up being the setter. I'm going to imagine that it's Ides, but she misses the serve, so we'll have to wait a moment to get that touch.
Jada Ides has served 36 times. Sorry, 46 times this season. Has aced 35.
Buck matches the miss with a miss. Baker. Small collision, but not too much of a problem for the side of Durham as McFarland puts it away. Both teams looking to find their footing early.
Brooke Young, 310 aces in her career.
Baker hides. This is up to Crawford, who just checked in, and what a laser that's immediately put back, though. Durham's now having to scramble and work with it. It's now on the close side, and Oak goes into the block of Pallister and Crawford. What a sequence of events. And again, throughout this season, I don't know if we've had as many rallies right off the rip in the first set as we have had today.
Yeah, I feel like most of the points end up coming from missed serves, but wow, what a laser from Sydney Crawford there. Came right off, almost, it looked like the face of Jessica Daugherty, as the Lancers will pick up another.
Tia Chang there for Durham's point.
Sorry, Durham.
And then Chelsea Oak. Cudmore. Hides. Back up to Cudmore. Spinner to the side and gets the placement.
Big crowd here for the last home game of volleyball this season.
A little bit of confusion. Cudmore thought they were going back to serve, but it will end up being Crawford. And it looks like Rowledge might substitute in. We also have Verbruggen walking up from the side of the bench, not all the way. Trying to see what's going on. But again, Crawford came in for Rowledge not too long ago and wasn't even at the setter position. It was just to give Ides the opportunity to set, which again, during the grad presentation at the beginning of the game, I looked over to the Loyalist bench after they pulled all the players down the middle to take a photo, and there were four players left. So I'm imagining Loyalist is going to look quite different next year as Elizabeth McFarland, second-year Lord player, gets the kill.
Yeah, 8 graduating students, so definitely a fresh roster, but a lot of those rookies getting a lot of minutes here. Currently rookies on are Caitlin Byrne, Isabella Baker, and Amber Verbruggen.
As Rowledge puts that up, it's going to be a fight at the net. And the ref is going to make a call saying Loyalist lifted, which the crowd is not happy with that, and it felt like everybody was just going with the flow.
The Lords slowly inching up on that small lead that Loyalist was able to obtain. There's Cudmore. Up by Routledge. Caitlin Byrne goes for the kill. Saved by Cudmore. There's Routledge again. Amber Verbruggen goes for the kill, and it's failed. We'll roll right back onto the Lancer side. We'll see number 20, Tia Chang, up to serve.
And just 1 point differential, as Dylan was saying. Maybe just needed some time to warm up off the side. Cudmore pops it up. Routledge is going to be there. Back to Cudmore. Cudmore knowing the wall's there. It goes off Buck. Nice little tap from Cudmore. Great awareness. Cudmore on the serve. Oak, Young. The Buck lasers it through as Baker can't come up with it.
Baker was there just a little bit late, trying to get herself in the right position. She wasn't able to and made contact at the wrong time. Elizabeth McFarland.
Baker, Routledge, back over to Baker. That block is there. Nice spin on it. Oaks able to make contact, and the roof doesn't play a part on that, but what does is Chavoyska picking up the point for Durham.
Sit 11-11. So Lords have seemed to figure stuff out, and as I say that, the Lancers will get a point off of the mistake from the Lords here. Here's Caitlin Byrne once again. And it looks like we might have entered that phase that we get into in every set where we have a couple of missed serves after missed serves. And that's how the points tend to rack up.
Veronica Chavoyska, it's the game's tied. Laser serve, gets that one over. Routledge sets down the middle. Pallister reaches. Young now sets in the back with a huge hit on the side of Chavoyska. Now Cudmore trying to answer. Going to be close side to Oak, who goes for a tap, but just doesn't get any weight on it, so it drops where the contact's made.
Amazing saves from Taylor Baker. Taylor Baker, our graduating libero, but also graduating is Jasmine Lazard, our other libero.
Baker's there. Routledge sets up the other Baker. Oak, Young goes back to Buck in a quick action. Cudmore, nice little tap over. Center option. Oak goes through, saved again on the side of Loyalist. Cudmore in the back trying to get some height and paints the corner. I definitely love to see the crowd here. Again, an absolute packed house as it's the last lap in the Lancer Dome. If you happen to go around, I'm imagining we're going to be wearing these shirts as well on the weekend, and would love to have you guys out as we close out the chapter with the basketball teams on Saturday.
These two teams last faced October 17th, 2025, where the Lords won 3-0.
Verbruggen was checked in momentarily for Ides. See Ides come back. Still going to have Routledge as the main setter. In the back, it's Jesse Buck on the serve. Cudmore. Routledge goes for a tap behind. Oak is there. Young's going to reset Oak. Loyalist not even trying to block as Cudmore was able to play it, but goes off the rafters.
Sit 14-14. This is the most points the Lancers has ever scored against the Lords for the 2025-26 season. As in their final set in that 3-0 game, they were only able to obtain 13 points. So
Chang reaches for it. Ides is there. Routledge over to Cudmore. Saved to Young and McFarland. Too much weight. Baker. Oak. Young goes for it. Back to Oak. Ides pops it up. Rowledge running for it. They need to get it over. Ides calls for it. Gets it
There we
long
go.
to Young. Decides to go to Oak again. Off the netting. Takes a tip out.
A great call from Ides there not to touch that ball. And a timeout has been called by Durham as the Lancers have 2 extra points. We'll be right back here in 2 minutes. And we are back for a quick timeout break there from Durham as they've given up one too many points up against the Lancers.
Baker on the serve. It's over. It's good. Wong going to need some assistance. McFarland's able to keep it in. And Coach Tony Clark just says that one's dead and plays it himself.
Oh, disappointed look on that face as he decides to go and touch that ball. Here's Isabella Baker. Absolutely outstanding rookie season from Isabella Baker.
Really cracking the starting lineup, too, multiple times throughout the season. As Ides almost goes into the crowd there. Sorry, Dylan, didn't mean to cut you off.
No worries. And as we found, it's ever more important that these rookies are cracking the starting lineup and doing their best because we have quite a few graduates on this team, and especially on the starting lineup alone.
As Young goes with a heavy serve, Cudmore's there for it. Rowledge going to go to Pallister, hits the block. Baker to Cudmore, blocks there again. Popped up from Young, going to need some assistance. And they capture that point. And I think it's always something interesting because I remember going into this year for Loyalist and seeing so many new faces and a lot of them cracking the starting lineup. I'm thinking, hey, you know what? The player that's on the bench right now is somebody that was a staple on the team the previous year, and then seeing the progression of so many rookies throughout the season has been outstanding as well. So, again, a huge congratulations for the development, and hopefully it's had an absolutely amazing year as
Charles
Loyalist
Cudmore
picks up another.
The Lancers have really picked it up these last 3 games, I have to say. Even to make a dent on a team like this, like Durham, with their record, is something that nobody would have ever expected. And obviously bringing Algonquin out to 5 sets was a shock to even the team. But we've seen it. We knew they can do it on paper, and they figured it out. And so, it especially with this rookie lineup here, definitely a lot of potential for the upcoming season.
Maxine Felsborg comes in to serve as a specialist. Going to be a 50-50 at the net that Rowledge is able to at least get it over. Now Loyalist with an opportunity. Ides. See what Durham. Swing from McFarland. Ides again. Another 50-50 at the net, but more on the 60-40 as it's a little bit closer to the side of Durham, and they're able to just to tap it down. Felsberg. Baker. And immediately stood up strong, recognizing that Elizabeth McFarland, making the most of that immediate shot back.
Lancers take a timeout as they need some time to figure out how to come back from this. They're down 18-19 as the Lords take their timeout. Let's go.
Bellsberg. Off the netting, Cudmore's there. Routledge is going to put it back up to Cudmore. And there we go, easy peasy as Daugherty dives, but it doesn't get the right angle, and we'll see that quick substitution that Durham's been doing throughout this entire game as Julie Wong will come in for Daugherty. I'll bring up the sole fifth-year player for Loyalist and Routledge. Young goes behind.
Wow.
What a block from Cudmore against McFarland. Down this close sides, it's Chavoyski. Routledge back to Ides, knows that block's there, tries to go to the side and arc it. Loyalist is calling for a tip. The ref originally gave it to Durham. Now he changes his mind and gives it to Loyalist.
I believe he decided to call upon the linesman. The linesman called it in, which it didn't look like from our side, but did go in favor of the Lancers.
Great eye as Routledge go to this close side again. Young goes behind. McFarland continually getting set from Young, looking like the number one option. And for good reason, as Tia Chang. Baker diving for it right over Routledge's head as she tries to rise up to get a finger on it, but just slightly out of reach. Chang puts it back. Routledge over to Ides. From the back line, it's saved. And Chavoyski goes into a big block from Byrne and Cudmore.
Charles Cudmore had an amazing season here. Just, they know when to be there and when to anticipate these blocks. You can see, always got their eye on the ball, especially when they're up playing on that right and left side. And Cudmore will take an ace.
And Durham will take another timeout.
We are coming down to the end of the first set between the Lancers and the Lords. The Lancers currently lead by 1 point, but it's been quite a close game. Here's Charles Cudmore for the serve.
Saved by Loyalist on the far side. It's going to be Baker. Have to go against a double block. They're able to play it, but they just swing too hard off the rafters. And McFarland, but Loyalist coming off that timeout and capitalizing. And again, the atmosphere within this building. I am so happy to be here and broadcasting with you at home and here with Dylan. And I hope you guys are having an absolute blast as we close out the season here in the Lancer Dome. That's Cudmore. That's a good first spin off. We'll see what happens. Wong sends it deep. Baker plays it. Routledge back over to Ides. Knows that block's there. It hits the top of the net and just falls on their own side.
As you mentioned, yes, we are closing out the season in the Lancer Dome, but also closing out sports here in the Lancer Dome. Just one more basketball game, and then we will be moving over to our new space come the following year. So last lap in the Lancer Dome it is.
Cudmore from the back line. Down the middle, Buck is there, sees that opening just in front of Cudmore. We're back at 23 apiece. Where everything matters big time. Serves need to get over, and it does. Baker, a Routledge. Burns there for a quick little tip.
Wow. And
it looks like we'll have a server substitution. Chichiek Pelebe in for Byrne. As Lancers are on set point. And it falls short. Chavoyska. Cudmore. Rutledge. Back to Ides. Is off the block. Young. Close side to Felsberg. Gets it over. Now Rutledge goes down the middle. Pallister in the back line for Durham. McFarland. What a save from Taylor Baker. Oh my, Cudmore in the back. Need to get the right angle, and
Wow.
Charles Cudmore. Back at set point, you can watch both coaches, and Tony Clark for Durham and Jesse Dykehorn on the side of Loyalist, watching with intent. Big first set, Ides gets a serve. Gonna be Young, what option? Goes for Buck. Those quick little sets, nothing you can do about it. And Durham knowing their strength as Buck goes back. And you have to win by 2. Cudmore. It'll be a 50-50 at the net. It's just put back over immediately from Maxine Felsberg.
And this could be a very long game here as we're moving 1 by 1. Here, the Lancers will pull the final timeout of the set. We are back 25-26. Either team trying to pull a 2-point win here for this first set. Durham defending a 3-0 record. And they're going to tie it up off of the first serve. We'll say 26-26. We're going to need at least 2 more points here for either team to take the victory.
And I don't know if it comes across on the broadcast, but man, the crowd is loud. Baker. Down the middle, Young goes back as Felsberg is able to get it over. Now Loyalist turn to answer. Cudmore off the block. Charles
Boom.
Cudmore again.
Charles Cudmore, an absolutely outstanding first set.
Baker gets it over. Wong is there to Young. Goes on the close side to Felsberg, and it drops.
And it's just call and response.
It really has been pretty much neck and neck. Originally when the game started, if you weren't here for it, Loyalist did take a pretty commanding lead for the first couple of points, but Durham pulled it right back. Felsberg, Baker, Rutledge, Lee Pallister tries to find the corner. It's going to be over to the side.
Oh!
McFarland, what a save from Baker. And now Cudmore having to answer, goes for a tip. Does
Darn.
it hit anyone on the front line blocking? No, it doesn't. Cudmore was trying to place it off of a tip, but it just drops to the side, which gives Durham the point.
What an amazing save there from Isabella Baker. Right place at the right time.
Cudmore, Rutledge, back to Pallister. Pallister needs to get some strength on it. Chang on a block. Now it's going to be Cudmore. Trying to go for some height. It's popped up, and again, Charles Cudmore.
Let's talk about the difference here between Taylor Baker and Jessica Daugherty. Jessica Daggerty doesn't really leave that left side too much, whereas you see when Taylor Baker is on, she's running around. She's in every possible spot. She can anticipate that ball to come down to make a save for her teammate. And there's Chloe Pallister to bring it 28-29 with a missed serve as Taylor Baker returns.
All the pressure is on these serves just getting over right now, and that'll bring up Maxine Felsberg, a third-year player for the Lords. He's able to get it over. Baker, Rutledge, goes back to Ides, deep, and then immediately pop back over from Daggerty. Loyalist potentially with a freebie here, goes to Byrne, knows that block's there. It's off of the block, and they get the point.
Wow. Keep in mind, Caitlin Byrne for that point, but keep in mind that we are only in the first set. This is going to set a huge precedent for the rest of the game. It's going to cause fatigue.
As the gym falls quiet as Rutledge gets it just over the net. Wong is there to Young. To McFarland. Rutledge needing some assistance. Baker's there. Now Ides has to position accordingly. Young, Wong, set in the back for McFarland. Lancer's able to respond down the middle. Byrne, gets tipped from the player in the back.
Wow.
Felsberg gets a hand on it. Loyalist now on set point again.
I didn't even see that tip. I honestly was like, that's way out, but
just played by a sliver. Wong to Young on the net to Chang. Quick little drop. Rutledge is there, needing some assistance. Byrne turns into the center. Ides is there, goes for a tap, and immediately put back from Chang.
Oh my goodness.
Nobody's able to keep a commanding
Nobody's
lead.
able to keep this game up. Wow. We have played a full set and a fifth of another.
Rutledge goes to Cudmore with a big swing, and Cudmore puts the Lancers back into the lead.
This is like watching penalty shootouts in a hockey playoff game when they used to have those.
Cudmore goes for the serve. It's in the back. Young's going to grab it. Going to go for Buck quickly for a quick hit, and again we're back tied at 31. Elizabeth McFarland, now Loyalist, having a bit of room open behind their back line. But the serve's short. It's going to be a 50-50 at the net. Rutledge is there, needing some assistance. It's there, the help. Now Buck taps it to this close side. It's Savoyska, and Lancers going back ahead just by one. Can they close it out?
Very fitting. Durham was the first team to play Loyalist this season. In the first set, Loyalist only got 10 points to Durham's 25. And now here we are in the last game, and Durham is the one to play it again.
They're going to overcall it, I think, saying that there was a fourth touch on the play. On the corner of my eye, I saw the referee hold up the hand signal. There's no argument from the side of Loyalist, so in fact it goes from Loyalist on set point back to Durham on set point, but that point's almost irrelevant as well because we've been doing that for several now. As Baker, it rolls off her a little bit awkwardly. Baker's there. Cudmore needs to get it over with precision. Does so. 50-50 going to be at the net. Both teams jump for it. Loyalist is now able to work with it. Cudmore in the back with a heavy swing that's saved. What a diving effort from Daggerty. And on the far side, McFarland. Cudmore's there looking for his set. It's going to be Baker. He needs to play it, but puts too much of a spin, and Durham finally take the first set, 33-31. What an opening. We got quite a night ahead of us. We'll be right back.
All right, welcome back here to the second set. After an absolute battle in the first set, the Lords took that set 33-31. I'm sure everybody is tired and took their much-needed break between sets, but we'll see our same starting lineup here into the second set. Lancers were able to kick off a commanding lead in the first set, but we'll see Durham serve here. It's Maxine Fielsberg.
That's the voice of Dylan Ranarine. My name is Stephen Schill. Thank you guys so much for tuning on in. It's been a wonderful evening, and a quick shout out to Jatin. Thanks for tuning in. Hope you're having a phenomenal rest of your day as we are closing out a chapter here in the Lancer Dome, and Lancers are hoping to mount a comeback after dropping the first set and dropping the first point as Felsberg works again. Cudmore into a block.
So much power on that swing from Cudmore. Majority of the time it's coming out of those blocks and landing on the other side of the court, which is exactly where they needed to be, but it's hard to block them.
Cudmore with a laser off the netting, and Wong's able to get it, and so's Chang. A diving extra stretch out from Veronica Chavoyska. And unfortunately for the Lords, can only get 3 touches off, but what a quick succession of reacting quickly to try to keep that ball alive.
And like I said, a lot of power on that swing from Cudmore. And there was quite a bit of it in that ball.
And to think of the rally back and forth earlier, and there was a couple of missed serves in it, but really it was just clean volleyball for the most part as the ace is picked up on the side of Durham from Chang.
That one was claimed by the rafters, something that the girls will not have to worry about as we move into the new Lancer Dome next year.
Down the middle, Byrne into a block, able to get the left arm out. Byrne has to reach over to play it Young on the far side. It's hit over. Baker is able to save that from Chavoyski. And then a nice attempt from Elizabeth McFarland after getting an initial block on Baker, but can't get that second touch over. Point Loyalist. Byrne. Long was thinking about playing it, decides better. Was the right call.
Elizabeth McFarland to the line.
Right off the net, Baker is there. Rowledge goes behind to Ides. And what a laser from Ides, seeing a little bit of extra pep in her step after that. Ides.
Into the net. Will be point Durham. We'll see number 8. Veronica Chavoyska. 67 kills.
Rolls over, Cudmore's there. Rutledge having to reach for it. Swings it way far back as Cudmore goes running. And Pallister and Baker just stare each other down after a very odd sequence of events. Rutledge just didn't get the right initial touch on it, so put it sky high and further back. Loyalist just wasn't able to come together. Chavoyska misses.
Good call. Here's Isabella Baker to serve. Isabella Baker has yet to ace this season.
As Durham goes scrambling for Chavoyska from serving to just getting it over. Pallister at the bottom of the net tries to find the opening on the left, but throws it too far.
Bit of an early celebration there from Jada Ides as the point does not go in their favor. It's number 21, Jessie Buck, to the line to serve. Jessie Buck, 2 aces this season.
It's a high serve. Baker's able to take it. Routledge to Cudmore. Knows that block's there. Goes off of it anyway on Chavoyska. To the far side, McFarland on a swing. Baker, Rutledge, Ides. Tries to paint that back corner, and Chavoyska sends it into the wall.
Here's a switch up that the Lancers might have needed as Chloe Pallister, one of the stronger servers here on the Lancers.
Felsberg. As a reach up from Byrne is there. That's ultimately played by McFarland. I don't think I had the right angle on it, but I was curious if that was going out or if...
I think it was on its way out and surprised McFarland as she was trying to rotate to her new position.
Just a quick little dip, but Young goes for a center option. Wow, Pallister with the outreach. Cudmore is there for it, painting the back
And
corner.
they call it in. The Lancers have pulled ahead for the first time this set.
Probably not on the camera, but Tony Clark with the side referee pointed his arm out that it was out. The referee pointed in, then went for a fist bump with the referee afterwards, smiling. That's the Lancers pick up another point. And I think ultimately just the vibes in this dome right now are unmatchable.
With a record like the Lancers, it's not uncommon that we find ourselves as the underdogs, and when they're able to defend so well
Pallister
against
gets the
teams
ace.
with such great records, such as Algonquin and now Durham, obviously taking it to a crazy first set and now having the largest lead we've seen in this set. It's Pallister again to serve.
Young is going to pop that up. Felsberg is there, and Cudmore drops down looking like she was going to outreach, but so did Ides. I don't think either of them were respectfully close enough to play. Brooke Young, a setter for Durham, which we've said so much throughout here. Rutledge with a huge shot back to Ides, and Baker tries playing it a little bit of a bobble. That's called on the two-touch.
Brooke Young, 310 aces.
Cudmore, a fight at the net. Rutledge, she didn't touch it. But either
She
way,
made that
gets
very
shot
evident she didn't touch it.
But I think he's trying to say that she didn't touch the net. That's something we've seen actually a couple times where there's been calls against the Lancers on that netting violation. But ultimately, will be Rutledge, the Loyalist setter. And what a swing out of Elizabeth McFarland on that point. Felsberg misses. Cudmore. It's popped up on the far side of Chavoyska.
Wow.
The fallout. Lancers with a 3-point lead, which if you're just tuning in again, the first set went into overtime, 33-31. Durham walked away with it. Loyal's looking to answer, and Cudmore brings the Lancers up to a 4-point lead. And Chelsea Oak, who is on the starting roster for Durham, now comes in for Veronica Chavoyska. A little bit of a change-up. Cudmore off the netting. Wong. Young goes behind to Felsberg.
Felsberg, huge laser there. Trying to get it to Routledge. Baker was a little bit too far back, and Routledge ended up being late to that ball. Here's number 20, Tia Chang, up by Baker. There's Routledge, tips it off and out. Point Durham.
Yeah, for Rutledge, just kind of looked like she was standing there thinking about jumping up for it, but wanted to be ready in case it went back to her, and it did, and the play was just so quick. Bounced off her fingertips and out of bounds. Chang again. And Baker, I think, thought the ball was coming down in a different angle because last second you saw her kind of tweak her upper body just a little bit.
Yeah, to go for that bump instead of the volley. Just depending on what height it was, but she was a bit too far forward. Just a judgment call, no worries. There's Baker. Routledge sets it. There's Ides to go over. Byrne, double touch, and it's going to be point Durham.
And again, that front line of Durham is got quite the height, so always something I have to pay attention to as they're approaching the net, as Loyalist will take their timeout.
Chia Chang once again to serve here. We sit tied 14-14. Loyalist coming fresh off of a timeout.
Baker goes diving for it, needing some help. Routledge is there. Ides calls for it. Cudmore takes it. Felsberg, it might have gone out, but plays it anyway, wanting to be in control. Oak swings it over. Baker, Routledge goes for a deep dump. Felsberg is there again. Young goes over to Oak. Loyalist has a block, but it's past the block, and Baker tries to make that extra effort. And me, oh my, honestly, when we were bringing up earlier, Dylan, about the fight and how close things were going to be, I thought you were a little bit crazy to a point, but we have literally not had a moment where anybody's had more than a 3-point lead.
Yeah, like you mentioned, obviously trying their best to keep that ball up. You can see that every team member on the Lancers right now is putting in every last bit of effort they've got. Seen a lot of players running out of bounds to try and save as many plays.
And Lanches on a block, needs that extra effort. Ides needs to get it over, does so. Felsberg goes to Young. Buck calls for it, decides to go against that. And Felsberg with it. On that point. Excuse me, that might have been McFarland. Getting the 7 and 17 mixed up occasionally.
Sidney Crawford in. First time this set. There's Baker to pop it up. Routledge. Byrne. And it's tipped off and out.
Yeah, that little extra effort from Felsberg, I think realizing that the front line got just a fingertip on that, so wanted to play it, as we'll see Chichi Ekpelebe, who came in on the service line in that first set, and unfortunately wasn't able to make it count. But in the game previously, Chichi was in a set and absolutely saved a couple of points, and it was quite a pleasure to watch. And we'll see her now at the line as Lancers look to tie things up. Serve is good. We spun at the net. Young. Lancers get that touch at the net. Ides. And swing.
Boom. Jada Ides. A lot of power behind that swing. Not really what you would expect, but
crowd really goes dead silent on these serves. McFarland gets it.
the Lancers, some absolutely incredible coordination here from this lineup that we're seeing.
Cudmore. Routledge tries to go to Palliser. Crawford's there to save it. Wow, what awareness by Sidney. And now Cudmore takes the hit from Buck. Crawford with the second effort. Another great swing. Routledge back to Ides. And thought the roof might play it. Gets tipped back over. Routledge having a run for it. Needs some help. Crawford takes it. Felsberg. Young goes to Oak. Lances go for a jump. Baker's there to respond. Crawford on the far side. Ides gets it over. Wong diving effort. It's going to be popped up. Felsberg in the back line puts a spin on it. Cudmore over to Routledge. And the Lancers are just in complete dismay as Ides, Baker, and Palliser kind of all look at each other. Palliser reaches out an arm, but just falls short. And man, we've had so many crazy rallies today already.
I love the coordination from the Lancers today. This lineup, it is dire. It doesn't matter. Just get it over the net. That's what everybody's thinking, and that's how everybody's playing. And we're really enjoying to see it here, and they're asking for a recall on that one. It's not going to be overturned. Here goes point to Durham. It's number 17. It's Elizabeth McFarland. Up and over. There's Cudmore. Routledge. Pallister goes for the kill. It's missed back over, but a block from Jada Ides.
And they're going to call.
Pallister.
Yeah, I would say they're going to call it out off the antenna there and give it in favor of Durham. And we'll see the timeout from Loyalist as Durham. We just talked a minute ago about nobody having more than a 3-point lead. Well, there's a 4-point-1. Loyalist timeout.
And it's game on here. Lancers just coming back from their quick little timeout there. We said 16-20. Goes with a 4-point lead.
Yeah, McFarland just kind of spins it into the net. Not what they wanted to. And again, this is severe crunch time here for Loyalists, not wanting to give Durham more than an inch, and they've already done so.
As the Lancers now have possession, it'll be Jada Ides to serve. And we needed a good serve there, and she delivered.
Oak off the block. Pallister is there with it now. Durham's chance to do it a second time over, and Oak can't get it.
Quick timeout to get some of that coordination back is what the Lancers needed. As I mentioned earlier, they were playing with that attitude of doesn't matter, let's just get the ball over the net, and you still need some coordination when you play that way, and it looks like they had gotten it back there. As the possession is going to turn over to the Lords here. Managed to knock 1 point off that lead. They've got another opportunity now. Chelsea Oak.
Going to be Routledge over to Crawford. And an arm stuck out from Felsberg and a quick little tap back over the net, and Durham get the point. Oak. Baker takes it over Cudmore. And then Ides in the back, goes in the block. Routledge is there for it, needs help. Crawford's able to save it. Wong to Young. Quickly goes back to Buck, who has to reach out for it. Ides is there and plays it casually to Routledge. It's going to be Cudmore on an arcing run. They gets it. And then Felsberg goes into the block of Loyalist, able to play it again. See what Loyalist has to do. Crawford puts it up. Routledge now the center to Cudmore and just gets the wrong angle.
Too much excitement and too much power there. It's the ball with what looked like was about to be a misplay, and then a subtle little lift there from Chloe Pallister, and then was able to be bumped back over by Sydney Crawford.
It'll be a quick center option over to the side. Wong gets it to Young, and again, Buck trying to line drive, and Cudmore is able to save. Now Ides back the other way off the block, and Loyalist isn't done just yet.
Not at all. Maxine Felsberg there, the one to tip it as it rolls off of her fingertips and onto the ground. Regretting that touch just a little bit as it messed up the person behind her who was supposed to get that ball back over the net. 23-19. Here's Sydney Crawford.
Wong. It'll be Young. Far side Felsberg off the Loyalist block. They need to play it. Crawford and Baker both doing their best efforts, but that'll bring us to set point. We'll see a substitution on the side of Durham as well. Jessica Docherty coming in to serve for Jessie Buck.
Jessica Docherty out of the libero jersey now.
And you're right. Docherty was rocking that libero jersey in the first set. Pallister off the block.
There we go. That's what you wanted to see. The Lancers have breached 20. They're coming back from a 4-0, 4-point lead, not 4-0. Pallister.
So Buck just got taken out for, or Doherty just got taken out for Buck again. But the libero ended up switching, and they'll call it in. And the head referee looks like he might change the call here and give it to Loyalist.
Even I saw that one, and I was kind of questioning that one. 21-24, Chloe Pallister. Quite a strong server here for the Lancers, and it's up and out. An ace for Chloe Pallister.
Just the arcing of that, kind of watching Felsberg all the way through. Felt like it was going to be a close call, but again, Durham wanting to decide their own fate, in which they'll take a timeout here as they're on set point. Thanks for tuning in. Talking about pressure situations, all comes down to just Chloe Pallister getting it over the net and letting to see what Durham can do with it. Long, Young. Big block on the side of Loyalist. Almost a collision too, and gets reset in Felsberg. Now Rutledge goes back to Cudmore.
In!
And they call it in. What a close call.
1 point difference here. The Lancers.
Pallister gets it over. Wong to Young. Chang calling for it. Gets it and finds the back open court. And Durham will go up 2-0. But what an atmosphere. What a game. No quit. We'll see you for set 3 in just a moment.
Game time once again. We are entering our third set. Durham currently up 2-0 sets. And you say that, and it makes you think that, oh, the Lancers lost 2 sets in a row. Well, the last 2 sets have been absolutely outstanding. And some very close games. The Lancers putting in quite a bit of effort, doing a lot better than I think most of us were anticipating tonight. But whatever the Lancers got going on tonight, let's see if they can keep it going in this next set. Here is Jamie Routledge.
It's going to be Young. Close side to Oak, who gets some good height on it. But just to recap the set so far in the first set, 33-31. Quite an overtime experience. Would highly recommend zooming back in the broadcast to watch that, because it was quite a star-studded affair. And then in that last set you just watched, 25-23 in favor of Durham, as they also start off this third set with a point. Loyalist able to potentially save this as Baker sends it back to the side of Durham. Young goes behind. Going to be just tapped over from McFarland. Cudmore into the block and gets the point.
Locked and out. It's going to turn possession over to the Lancers. Here's Charles Cudmore for the serve.
The note Lindsey Boone in the number 22 for the side of Durham. Wong. Young trying to fight for it. Boone taps it. Routledge. Crawford. Wong. There's the Young behind to Oak, and Oak jumped a little bit too soon before the set was even made, really. And so it'll drop and be a Loyalist point.
Sydney Crawford to start this set over Chloe Pallister. Something that we have not seen in this game yet. Sydney Crawford usually entering around that 14 to 15 point range. Charles Cudmore bumped and down. Not the right angle that they were looking for.
McFarland with the points for Durham, as we're tied at 2 apiece. Tapped over. Young. McFarland gets it.
Charles Cudmore, shocked look on their faces. They were close, but not close enough.
And it's a miss. And I do also have to apologize. I've been saying Oak wrong. It's OAC. So pardon me if you're tuning back into the broadcast. We'll see Byrne for Loyalist. OAC. Wong. Goes to Voiska. Now Routledge sets the middle. And Pallister. Durham looking to respond, and a big swing from Veronica Chavoyska.
Charles Cudmore, a little bit upset there. It's the second ball she's been late to.
Boone, a far serve. Going to be risky, but Loyalist lets it drop, and that's the right call.
Lindsey Boone, 6'4".
Zamer Verbruggen comes in for Routledge. That means Ide's going to be the setter for Loyalist. Buck with a quick tap over, and Crawford and Routledge. That scared me. Both of them went diving for that and almost collided, but didn't. Elizabeth McFarland. Baker. Ides tries playing it. There's the reach over from Young.
That ball fell almost perfectly centered right onto the net, and so Ides made the great call that it was to actually tip that ball back into their side.
Yeah, so it looks like Loyalist is going to end up getting that point after all. A little bit of an argument afterwards from Ides as well. Proven to be the right thing to cause a storm, as Durham will get the point back.
Too much power off of Baker's swing there. She was trying to set. Amber Verbruggen in as the setter, I believe.
I think it should be Ides.
Ides is setter.
Verbruggen's there for the offensive option, but they're going to go to
Yes,
Cudmore
you're
again.
correct.
Off that block. They're going to give it over to them, saying that there was 4 touches on the side of Loyalist. Shavoyska. Baker. Counted as an ace.
Last time was too much power. There was a little bit too little from Baker. And not the angle that she might have been hoping for.
Baker. Going to be Cudmore. Pop sky high, Young, close side, Owak. Finds the corner. And Durham getting a little bit of a comfortable lead now at 4 points ahead. And again, after 2 very, very close sets, Loyalists needing to keep up their energy and morale as Ides puts it to Cudmore off the block, and the rafters count it. Pallister, Wong, goes to Young, up to Owak.
Blocked and out off of Caitlin Byrne and Amber Verbruggen. 6-10. Number 21 to serve. There's Jessie Buck. 90 kills this season for Jessie Buck.
Gonna be Ides decides to set for Verbruggen, who has to take a gnarly angle and just doesn't make the right contact off the set. And it just roll off the net.
Caitlin Byrne not expecting that ball to come down as slow and come down to her, as it unfortunately did, and ends up being a little bit late.
6-point lead now.
Jessie Buck once again.
Crawford, Ides, Cudmore, needing some extra help, gets it. Young goes to Chavoyska.
The net violation I'm thinking was called. Something to turn over that point to Loyalist. Here's Amber Verbruggen. First time we'll see her serve this game. Amber Verbruggen.
Halak, Young goes to Boone. Byrne just decides to send it straight back to them. We'll see what they do. Owak again with some strength behind it. Loyals gets the block off. Ides sets up Crawford. He's just going to bump it over. Farland, Young, Owak finds the open floor. Again, there wasn't too much of it, but right just off the corner of Crawford's shoulder. And perfect placement as Verbruggen will come out for Routledge.
The Lancers need to pick up some morale here. 2 absolutely outstanding sets.
There's Byrne off that block. Maybe Lush, Young, Owak goes for a quick little tip that's played. And Routledge was already down trying to play it, but will also just dump it back over. And then McFarland on the far side gets through the block.
We still have 2 timeouts for the Lancers here. Jesse Dykehorn choosing to hold on to those for now. Here's Cudmore. Up and out, a race to it for Crawford. And it's over by Cudmore, and the ball's still in play.
Young down to Boone. Boone goes for a quick tap. Routledge is there. Going to be Baker to set Ides. And the block from Durham has a little bit of a cheeky smile coming out of McFarland.
It's unfortunate to be shut down so quick on plays where you run out of bounds to keep that ball in play. And absolutely great work there from Baker and Crawford to chase that ball and keep it alive. There's Cudmore.
Rutledge screaming help throughout that, and again, just no players close enough to it. And as you just said, Loyal set a few timeouts, and they'll use one right now.
The crowd is beginning to get louder as the Lancers move off of their first timeout here. We sit 7-16. Lancers need to pick up the pace here.
On that first touch, it's going to be a fight at the net that gets over. We'll see what the call is. They're going to say a two-touch on the side of Durham.
Here's Charles Cudmore. Some great serves from Cudmore earlier on in the set. And can they do it again? I gotta stop saying that. I feel like every time I comment on somebody's ability to serve is when things go bad here. Number 16 for Durham. Oak.
Rutledge goes down the middle. Byrne having to kind of reach for it, but the block of Boone is there as there's almost no strength behind that swing. Just with the placement. Durham will take a commanding 10-point lead. Oak, Cudmore, Rutledge to Baker. Oak, Young, both sides Chavoyska, gets it over. Rutledge, Byrne, that time got a much better swing on it, still blocked by Durham. Ides sees that block there, tips it off of it. A run from Lush now on the far side. McFarland goes into the block, and there's Isabella Baker.
Isabella Baker just moving back in from Sydney Crawford. And they switched it up. Usually Isabella Baker is the one to start and has for the last two sets, but Sydney Crawford took her turn this time. Caitlin Byrne with the serve.
And a quick little dip and dabble from Boone and the Lords, and they get the point. So Peyton Jones will come in here for Lindsey Boone. Again, Boone seeing her first time on the court in this third set.
And these are similar results to the sets that we saw Loyalist play back in October. Only scoring 10 points for two of their sets. 13 in the third. So they've done an absolutely outstanding job in the first two.
And Jones on the missed serve will immediately get taken back out, and Boone will replace. As Libero then steps in afterwards, and Wong. Oak.
Rolled off of the block and down. Here is Pallister.
This is Ides at the line. We popped up to Young. McFarland gets a kill. We'll see Aaron Black now check in for Durham. Serves over, Cudmore. Go to Rutledge. Over to Ides. Durham's blocks there. Loyals with that second effort, but it's going to hit that antenna.
21-11. The Lords with a 10-point lead.
Black gets the serve. Going to be a quick little dump over, and Loyalist to get the point as a net violation is called against the Lords.
The Lancers finally able to pick things up here as we get to the last few points, or what could be the last few points of this set. Here's Isabella Baker to serve. A great serve from Isabella Baker.
Long to Black, over, quick to Buck. He shoots it down. Jessica Daugherty now into serve. Cudmore. Rutledge back to Cudmore. Good swing, but good save from Daugherty. Owak tries to put it far back. Baker's able to respond. Ides is off the block and it'll drop.
Chloe Pallister. Phenomenal serve.
Daugherty tried volleying it and couldn't connect.
Lords 23, Lancers 14 as the Lords move to the offensive side here. Number 7 to serve. It's Maxine Fielsberg.
Baker go back to the side of Durham. Black puts it up. Behind us, swings from Young and off the rafters will now bring it to match point. Bellsberg. Baker. Rutledge. Over to Baker. We fight at the bottom of the net. Byrne.
Great little tip there from Caitlin Byrne. Just waiting and saw the best opportunity. That ball moving slow. Just coming up over. Was able to just pop up and get two hands on it and find some free space on the court. Here's Jamie Rutledge to serve.
Owak. Black back to Owak. It's off the block, and that, ooh. I was going to say, the referee favored that inside of Loyalist initially, but then back over to Durham, so that will close out the festivities here. Durham taking the first set 33-31, the second set 25-23, and then this one 25-15. I want to give a huge congratulations to all of the graduating players and all of the Lady Lancers throughout the season for a phenomenal season. It's been an absolute pleasure to cast it. Again, Dylan Ranarine alongside myself and John Ostrowski throughout the season. My name's Stephen Schill. Again, you can hear everybody in the crowd really appreciating what you guys have brought to the school and wish you all the best in your future endeavors.
All right, we will see you guys back here in just a few.